Hey guys, happy Monday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So yes, it is true. If you saw the thumbnail, you know what I'm talking about. The world famous or not so famous Devil Bus is done. Finally, of course, being the Devil Bus, it had to fight me one last time, but in the end, we prevailed. So went to start it today. If you follow the channel, you know that I went to start it I don't know, a couple weeks ago or so. The starter wasn't cooperating, pulled the starter out, cleaned the contacts, stuff like that, bench tested it, seemed great, put it in, seemed great. Today went to start it. The bus turned over initially and then boom, nothing with the key. And got under it and whacked the starter a few times with the hammer, and then it worked, and then it stopped. It's just not happening. So pulled the starter out, pulled a one that we found in our stock that we kind of forgotten that we had, an original 6-volt starter, original Bosch 6-volt starter. It was all rusty and looked like crap, but I bench tested it and it sounded strong. So cleaned that puppy up, sandblasted it, painted it, made it look as good as new, installed it, and boom, the thing starts perfectly every time. So yeah, again, it had to fight us one last time, but yeah. So got the thing fired up, took it for a test drive, drives awesome, looks awesome, runs awesome, brakes are great. The thing is just actually a pleasure to drive. So yeah, in the end here, it's a great bus. Took us a while to get there and much frustration, but it is done. And so talked to the owner today, you know, kind of updated him on where we were. Well, in fact, told him that I was done, sent him his final invoice. He's trying to work now on getting rid of it. I don't know. He's also just over it. Who knows? But he's talking about maybe trading it for maybe a muscle car, or maybe taking it to auction, or maybe having Eddie at Eddie and Dave's garage, maybe try and sell it and, you know, act as a broker. Excuse me. So he's got some different possibilities lined up for it. Seems clear that he's not going to keep it for whatever reason. It's really a great running, driving bus at this point to me. He should probably just keep it, but totally up to him. Anyway, it is done. So bye-bye. He's going to be respectful of us and try and get it out of our shop here in a reasonable amount of time. We didn't talk about an exact time frame, but he understands space is tight here and he doesn't want to impose. He's a super good guy to customers. So yeah, there you go. This should be nearing the end of its way too long stay in our shop. So whew, those of you that have followed the saga know how much headache and heartache this thing has caused us. But in the end, it's a bitchin' bus. So there you go. All right. So that was my morning, a good part of it. Let me talk about Mr. Rafa next. So I don't even have to say it. Let me just start talking. So Rafa started in on all the tinware for the motor for this guy, the Barndoor, needless to say. We had a really nice original fan shroud, which needed very little work. And then pretty much the rest of the stuff. So his cylinder tins were pretty nice. They needed a little metal and body work. Likewise, his valve covers and stuff. His heater boxes were just completely wrong. They were too late for this bus. And again, you know, this bus needs to have the correct stuff on it because it's an amazing bus. So we don't want, you know, some like 1958 or something heater boxes because they're just wrong. So we dug deep into our stash and found a pair of correct ones for this bus. And not surprisingly, they needed quite a bit of work, but again, they are correct. So Rafa went ahead and replaced the J pipes for them, got those all welded in and stuff, and did a lot of body work on them and got them all working, you know, the flaps and all that stuff, cleaned them up. I mean, they still look dirty, but ultimately they will be sandblasted. All this stuff will be sandblasted and powder coated, the semi-gloss black that we use on everything. So yeah, pretty much most of the day for Rafa on going through all the tin, the bulk of the time again on the restoring these heater boxes, and getting them functional and straightening out dents and stuff like that. So tons of work in that. And then yeah, so not done yet. I think there's still a few more pieces to go, but yeah, it's very time consuming to make this stuff look that nice. Again, luckily the fan shroud that we had in our stash was super nice. We're actually using a fan shroud that doesn't have the little cutout here or the little recess here. We are putting dual carburetors on here. I think the fan shroud that it came with had the little recess here, which is actually a Beetle one. And we didn't want to use that because, well, one, it's not correct for a bus, but then two, since this is going to have dual carburetors on it, you have a carburetor sitting here and here, the middle of the fan shroud's kind of open, so we didn't want that little recess here showing on the fan shroud that he had because it wouldn't look right. So anyway, what else? Yeah, so that was most of Rafa's day, or pretty much the whole day actually. So me, other than the DB here, Devil Bus, I got back on this guy and doing a few things here. So I went ahead and hooked up his e-brake handle and got it all adjusted and working, and works great now. Got it adjusted so it's about 3 or 4 clicks like they're supposed to be. Most of them, like people have them, they come way up. That's not too much. I think the spec is actually like 3 or 4 clicks. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you can get about 5 out of it. That's to me kind of the range I shoot for. Usually closer to 5 than 3, but not 10 or whatever people mostly have these set. But yeah, that was kind of a pain because the bracket down here that this whole thing mounts in was pretty mutilated. And I wasn't able to get the C-clips on, or I got one of the C-clips on the pin, and then you could slide the pin through. But then because the sheet metal here, sorry, this is a little dark, the sheet metal here that this thing goes in was kind of mutilated, I couldn't get the pin to come out far enough, say on this side, for the little C-clip to go in. So of course I discovered that after I put the whole assembly in. So pulled the whole assembly back out, and then spent a lot of time kind of massaging the sheet metal here for the e-brake lever to fit in and the pin to be able to come through far enough that the little C-clip that retains it, which you can barely see there. But anyway, yeah, it's just one of those things. You think it's going to be a 5-minute job, and you end up having to take it back apart and tweak things and wrestle things and stuff like that. But it works great now. So there you go. The other thing, which shouldn't have really been a big deal, but ended up kind of being one, was mounting the battery in here. So again, I don't know what shop worked on this car, but it had so many things wrong with it. The battery clamp that was on this side was the kind that's like a little, I don't know, it's kind of shaped like this. And it would run along, it actually ran along most of the length of the battery. So those are correct for 12-volt batteries, because most 12-volt batteries have that little lip on the bottom. So that was the style that was made to catch that lip for a later car. Completely incorrect for this car, and no way to actually use the proper battery strap. So I had to go and cut that thing off, and then I welded on the proper little hook here. But then also the stud, which is kind of the other part of this thing, which you can kind of see the top of here, they had way too short of a stud in there. It was that long. And pretty much you need some length in that stud, because that's how you adjust. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I don't know, you can kind of see there that there's some distance between the pan and where the nut is and stuff like that on the strap. That's kind of how you adjust the tension on these straps, is you got some space in there, and so that stud has to be kind of long enough that you can adjust where the bottom of this strap actually sits on it to get the proper tension on the strap. And so the stud they had in there was so short that even if I ran the nut all the way to the top, the strap was just way too short to hook on to the little hook on this side. So you see how this thing, there you can kind of see. See, so there's a little hook there, and then this goes in it, and then when you pull it, that's what tightens it. So yeah, they wouldn't even reach this with the stud they had. So I had to cut that stud off, weld a new stud on. I had to cut off this thing they had over here, which again was made more for like a 12-volt battery, and then weld on the little hook, which is correct for this battery strap. And yeah, so you know, again, I don't know who worked on this car, but there was just a lot of things like that about it. So anyway, I got all that straightened out. The battery's in now. It's mounted. It's not really hooked up yet, but at least I got the mounting sorted out. I feel like this battery cable is going to be too short, and I kind of pulled on it, and it feels like it may not have any more length to it. So I may have to replace this cable too, because I don't think it's actually going to reach the post on the battery. So, you know, just one more thing. If they would have just put the correct one in it, then probably would have reached, but I don't even know where this cable came from. So yeah, there you go. So that was mostly what I did. I did spend some time going through this guy's boxes of parts, looking for his keys for the ignition and the doors. Couldn't find him. My client, who in turn again is building the car for his client, or he said he thinks Octavio has the keys. So I don't know. I got to talk to Octavio, because at some point I'm going to need some keys here when I go to, you know, start it, obviously. And the owner is going to need keys when he goes to, say, drive it. So I need to hunt those down. Hope Octavio's got them, because I don't. And I went through all this guy's stuff. So I guess we'll see. Anyway, as far as Jacob goes, Jacob did some more disassembly today on the tennis ball on wheels, otherwise known as the love bug there, the green bug. He got the wiring pretty much removed from the front of the car. He took off the air cleaner and stuff in the back, getting the motor kind of ready to pull out, and a few other little odds and ends like that. So we may even pull the motor out of that car tomorrow. We'll see. So yeah, we're just kind of slowly stripping it down here, getting it ready for paint and body. This one I didn't do anything on it today. However, I did go ahead and order the correct vacuum and centrifugal advanced distributor for it. Basically the 034. So it's going to run awesome, much better than with a 009, which makes it run terrible with the 34-3 carburetor. So yeah, this one's just kind of waiting on that at this point. So that is it for today, guys. So appreciate you all watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.